Welcome to the Her Story Circle podcast, the podcast that brings you the extraordinary tales of everyday women who are changing the world. I'm your host, Gertrude Mache, and I'd like to acknowledge traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today. I also like to pay my respects to elders, past, present, and emerging. Every week, we dive into the lives, challenges, and triumphs of women from all four corners of the globe. We're here to inspire, enlighten, and connect, sharing stories that uplift and empower. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and join us as we explore the incredible journeys of women shaping our future. This is Her Story, where every woman's voice matters. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Her Story Circle. This is Gertrude Mache here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. And today I am graced with the presence of yet another fascinating young woman. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our tribe. Please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, and share your story with us today.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth S.B. Vines, or Lizzie, and I am from Perth, Western Australia, and I am a 20-year-old university student and business owner. So today I'm going to talk to you basically about my story and how I stumbled across becoming not only a business owner, but also working for a multi-million-dollar company at the age of 19 and now 20. So today I will basically be discussing what changed in my life that prompted me to start my own business and go work for such a big company. And not only that, but also managing to land a job. So I started my degree in marketing back in 2022. I'm studying Bachelor's of Marketing, Advertising, and PR. And I absolutely love what I'm doing. I stepped into my first year and I took a third year class by accident, and I took marketing analytics, and I absolutely fell in love with it. During my first year, I was also working for Woolworths, just as a part-time worker, working in bakery, cashier. And I remember I got talking with some of my coworkers, and I found a lot of them actually had a university degree and they were still working for Woolworths. Like, some of them were out of university, some of them were in their 30s, and they had full jobs and they just weren't like moving on. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I had a full panic attack. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna be stuck here. I'm not gonna move on. And so I was still in my first year of uni when this happened, and I pretty much started applying to places like within a week of having this realization. So I applied probably to hundreds of marketing positions. I probably started in February of 2023, and I kept applying, and I was away when I got the call. Actually, it was in July, end of July, when I finally got a call back that someone wanted to interview with me. And I got a call from Tarisha Erid, who is the owner of Interactive Media and who is a co-owner of Custom Neon. And I went in for the interview and I was so scared. And I got the job, which I'm very thankful for. As a first year university student, the amount of rejection letters, people saying I do not have enough experience, I'm a first year, they don't even know if I'm going to stick with the degree I've chosen. And so many different things, like most of the time people weren't even getting back to me, even though I was like, if you have any feedback, please tell me, like, I want to improve. And so when I landed this job with Custom Neon to be the online marketing specialist, I was so thankful. I was brought on to do web copy, a lot of copywriting, and I absolutely loved my time there. I still love doing what I'm doing. I work with an amazing team, not only in Perth, but also in Geelong, where our home team is, and then in the USA and the UK as well. So I've been working with them for about a year and a half now. And every single day I wake up and I know that when I go there, I absolutely love what I'm doing. And earlier this year, I was approached as someone on LinkedIn. I have a very active profile. I do a lot of web copy just for my own profile to build my reputation. And I pretty much got approached by a business asking about if I wanted to do some marketing for them. And at this point, I'd only worked for my bosses and I've been doing just pretty much in-house work. I've just been focusing on customer. I don't have my own business. And I was like, I'm not too sure. I was pretty sure it was a scam, to be honest with you, because I was like, who approaches a 20-year-old about doing marketing for a really important business? And I ended up just being like, I'll take the call basically. And she talked me through it, and it actually sounded like a company I really, really want to associate with. It had a really great reputation. It was a great step in the right direction. The lady was so lovely talking to. And so people asked me how I came up with my brand name. And in case you haven't seen already, SB is my middle name, and that's how I came up with SB Marketing. And it wasn't a hard choice to decide that was going to be the name of my business. I came up with my logo. And I actually told my dad on his birthday. I gave him a card and I told him what my business name was going to be. And oh my God, he started crying. It was because that's where I get my middle name from. It's Susan Bustle, which is from my late auntie. And it's a really important part for me. My family heritage is something I am extremely proud of. And every day, I'm very thankful that I'm a part of the family I'm with. So after this meeting, I set up my business, I come up with a logo, and I do all that. I don't end up signing with the initial lady who contacted me. But that kind of got the ball rolling, to be honest with you. That set me in the direction. I was like, okay, I have a business now. I've got this, like I can do this. So I then started promoting my brand and going online, just keeping an eye out, see what I can do to kind of shift the gears. And since I've taken on several clients that my company represents. To be honest with you, the words point of view, I know a lot of people that are happy with that, and there is nothing wrong with staying in a comfortable job, but that just really didn't sit with me. I felt like I had so much to offer, and I was so excited about what I wanted to do. It's so rare that someone so young can come up with something that they're really passionate about. And I felt like I really found what I was good at such a young age, and having great mentors like Teresa Arid and my lecturers from university, that absolutely changed it for me. And I also feel like even though I have my business and I do work in marketing, I'm still myself. I'm not just, Lizzie, the founder of SB Marketing. I'm also, just Lizzie, just someone who likes reading books and, just doing normal things like playing sport. It's not just always about business. And I feel like young people really need to learn that it's okay to balance work and play. I still spend a lot of time with my friends and my family. And there's nothing wrong with balancing work and play, because I find more often than not, it leads you to more business opportunities. a lot of my business opportunities is because I've just met some amazing people along the way, and it's come up in conversation that I have my own marketing business. I'm like, what, we're looking for someone to do our marketing for us, and that's pretty much how the conversation starts. Being social with a lot of people, it can be sometimes really like anxiety ridden. Like, I'm like, oh my god, like I have to be really social. But honestly, when I'm talking about something that I absolutely love, it doesn't feel like business for me. It feels like, okay, like I'm passionate about this and I want to show them that I have so much to offer. And sometimes being so young can people can be like, oh, you do not have enough experience to be like that, and we don't really want to work with you, which is okay. But I find we have so much more experience with technology, and I feel like I have so much more to offer. And I feel like young people do need to remember that. And I'm just so looking forward to what the next steps are for my business when I graduate in May.
Lizzie, your story is absolutely fascinating. You know, it's not every day that I get to meet such a young entrepreneur, but somebody who has so much wisdom at such an early age. You are so lucky to have found something you were passionate about at an early age as well. That is very, very unusual. So, how did your midlife crisis during university motivate you to pursue a career in marketing? What was the turning point? What was the incident that spurred all of this?
So during the week, between me originally, kind of asking people around Woolworths and just asking people in general. It wasn't just the people I was working with, it was everyone around me. I was like, oh, when did you get your job, like out of uni? And it often resulted in like a lot of internships. People were volunteering, and I was like, I need a bang for my buck. Like, I'm very I just like, I wanted to get experience. I didn't want like a 2 month internship somewhere. I wanted somewhere that I could call home and that I could work with these people like continuously throughout my university degree and apply what I've learned, and vice versa. And when I was asking around, and people just give me the same answer, like, oh yeah, I've been out of uni for like 8 years, 5 years, all those answers. I was like, okay, I don't want to be one of those people. I don't want to fall through the cracks and like not waste my degree but not use it. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't want to enjoy the 3 years that I was spending there and just being like, oh yeah, that's it, great, thank you, bye. I wanted to use it once I left university, and I feel like I really needed that kind of kick to go, okay, time to switch on. And even though I was only in my first year, I was literally in my second semester. I remember because I was talking about my analytics class, and it was a third year class in my first year. I was like, no, I've got this, it's fine. And I absolutely loved it. I eat up all my marketing and every single class there is. I'm like, yes, like I'm kind of missing it right now, to be honest.
Wow. So, what have been some of the biggest challenges that you faced while balancing full-time university and part-time marketing job?
At the start, it was a little bit of an adjustment. I used to work in hospitality, so I'm no stranger to doing full-time work with full-time university. It was more of an adjustment to make that when I left university, I was then going and working and doing more marketing. And
Right.
at first I was like, whoa, this is kind of weird. Like, and then I just I fully adjusted to it, and I was like, oh, this is like, it didn't annoy me or frustrate me that that I was doing it all the time. It made me more motivated to do it. And then throwing in having my own business, that
Yes.
adding that in, actually, it kind of motivated me to not only like when I finish my work day, but I'll go home, I'd do my uni work, and then like as a reward, I'd be like, oh, now I can do my freelance work. Like, it was it was like a
Yes.
reward system, because the university stuff, a lot of it is creative, but it's very structured. So
Yeah.
I think that as like, I'm like, well, I get to do my own thing now, like, which is what really kind of drove me and kept me going.
So how did your mentorship with, is it Teresha?
Yeah, Trisha.
Yeah, shape your career aspirations in marketing analytics? A lot of people don't realize the importance of data when you are running these marketing campaigns. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so definitely. So when I first like went into custom neon, like when I applied for the job, it was actually for a PR position, which
Yeah.
my good friend Kate actually got, which was amazing. And so they were only hiring for one person, but they read my resume and they're like, hey, we actually really like what you have to say. We like that you prefer data and all of that sort of stuff, which is really rare for such a young person, to prefer data and analytics over, the fun stuff like social media and stuff. Because social media marketing is amazing and it's really, really fun to do. But over the past year and a half that Tarisha has been mentoring me, I've learned so much, and I can successfully say, that is where my heart lies. Like, there is so much data that goes into creating posts, when to post them, like YouTube and content marketing and web creation. And all of that has so much to do with every single business, and it's a major part of custom neon.
Right.
And she really steered me in the direction of, I was like, yeah, I'm not really like quite sure, I'm interested. That was how it started. I'm interested in marketing analytics, because I took a unit in it. I was like, that kind of tickled my fancy. And then she just kind of took it from there and was like slowly introducing me to stuff. And then I just found whenever I did other forms of marketing, it just didn't hit the same. I was like, I really enjoyed it. Like, it was amazing, but there was always analytics and it was always there. And I was like, oh, like, it was always my favorite. And I feel like having she has a wealth of experience and a wealth of knowledge, and she has really honed me and taken me, someone who literally had no experience, and she has created the marketer I am today. And I'm so
Oh.
grateful for her experience that she's passed on to me.
So, what inspired you to create SB Marketing, and what does the SB stand for? And what was the process like building your business from the ground up?
Yeah, so SB Marketing stands for SB, which is my middle name, and it's Susan Bustle. Yeah, so it's a massive, it's really important to me that my family stays really close to me, and it's to do with my dad's side, so the Vines heritage. And it was so important to me. Honestly, people always talk about coming up with business names and how it was a really important step. It was the most difficult. It's like, it's just one of those things. And honestly, it was one of the easiest decisions I've had to make with my business. I just kind of thought, I was like, SB marketing. That was
That's
it.
the
It was that easy. And obviously it does not come easy to everyone like that. It was just, I was just like, yeah, no, that makes sense for me. Like, it
name.
was, I absolutely love my family's heritage. It's so important to me. And I remember telling my dad, and he was in tears, and he comes up to me, he's like, I'm so proud of you, like, every day, and it's so sweet. And and what kind of like taking a step from, naming my business that was in a kitchen, like, I was like, no, that makes sense. And then going from there, I designed my logo. I then started, getting emails, building my website, and thankfully I have so much experience with it. It
Yes.
was it wasn't easy, it was just smoother. If I had no experience with website building, web copy, or anything like that, I would have been blind leading the blind. Like, I would have been so lost. Oh my God.
Oh gosh. So what would you say differentiates SB marketing from other marketing businesses in the industry? What's your unique selling point?
My unique selling point, it's like a lot of people are gonna be like, you're just gonna say it's just because you're so young and you're hip with all the trends and stuff, which is definitely not the case. Because you'll find me nose deep in a book somewhere, half the time and not on my phone. But definitely it has to be with my unique perspective that came out of it all. Like
Yes.
I came out poking people, being like, teach me, show me. Like, I'm not going to be sitting there across from a client and saying, I know everything. Don't tell me how to do my job. I'm going to be begging them, being like, oh my God, like, if you know something I don't, I want to know these things. Like, I'm always open to self education, is probably the biggest investment business people can make. That is the most important thing I've learned, is investing in yourself is
Yes.
one of the most important opportunities anyone can take, not even just business owners, but anyone. Furthering your education is always the most important thing. And weirdly enough, I think that's probably what sets me apart from people, is because I'm open to learning. And I feel like that's definitely something the younger generation has in common. They're always like, show me more, like tell me more, like keep giving me more.
I love it. So, can you share a success story from your work with SB Marketing that you're particularly proud of?
I got my first client. That was really exciting. As I said before, like when you don't need to separate your personal and business completely. Half my business comes from people, I'm just talking with them, with whatever however I met them, and they're gonna be like, oh, what are you doing? I was like, oh yeah, no, I'm at uni, but I also own my own business. And then they're like, oh, we're looking for someone to do our marketing. Can you do it? And that's how I got
Yes.
my first client. And honestly, when I first started doing it and I started talking them through it all, oh my God, I was sweating bullets. I remember the room I was in, it was like stifling that day. I had to be like all in my business attire and I was like, hoo hoo, like, and oh my God, I was so scared. But they were absolutely so lovely and they were like, oh my God, like we're so lost. And I was like, it doesn't have to be difficult. Like, I want my clients to understand that, you know, marketing is like a two-way process. Like, I want to know what you're thinking. If you're not liking the direction I'm going in, or if you want to change something up, I'm like, you gotta tell me. Like, I think it's so important that brands and marketers communicate. And that's why I think like having outside people come in and not just having in-house people is like some of the best solutions.
Yes, that is so true. How do you maintain a connection with your clients and their audiences through your marketing strategies?
Yeah. So with my client directly, I meet with them in person at least like a few times a week. It's just out of convenience because I'm quite close to
Yes.
them. But we are also communicating through emails and messages like constantly. Like, I know
Right.
with the first round of posts I did for them, like on social media, because I was doing it across multiple platforms. I was, before I even scheduled them, I was sending them screenshots saying, hey, is this what you're looking for? Like,
Okay.
making sure people understand that it's like you're starting off from, step 1 all the way through to step 10. Like,
Yes.
having the client involved always is so
Step of
important.
the way.
And yeah, and then like staying communicated with their audience and my audience as well, is staying engaged, like making content that resonates with them, whether that be stuff that's relevant to me or to my client's audience.
Right.
It doesn't matter who you're targeting. If something is not working, you got to change it up, and it's as simple as that. Obviously things don't change overnight, but you have to keep an eye on things, and this is where all the analytics come in. You'll find me looking at the numbers, looking at the stats.
I love it. So, what does it mean to you to represent both professional excellence and a well rounded life outside of work? That sounds very
Yeah.
important to you.
Yeah, it's really important to me. Honestly, you never know who you're gonna meet on a night out.
Yeah.
That's always my thing. I'm like, always when I go out, I know I'm not just representing my self brand, I'm also representing Custom Neon. I'm also representing my business. And, dressing to impress is probably my biggest thing ever. I love, dressing in nice clothes, big coats, nice hats, all of that sort of stuff. I'm like the worst person for it. My closet is full of coats, and always being on top, like being open to convert with people, like no matter how old they are, what they do for a living, like being open to conversation is probably the thing that probably changed it for me. I used to be like, I used to be very chatty, but like I wasn't like actually like having a conversation with them. Like it was very, how are you? Like instead of like, how are you? What are you doing? Like, how can I help you? Like it's not, what they can do for you, it's what you can do for them.
Yeah, and then being very present to the people you're talking to. You just never know whether that person is a link in a chain that's going to move what you're doing forwards as well, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like Perth alone and Australia, and actually anywhere in the world, such small places. Like I know, I was across the other side of the world in America, and I met an Australian, and they actually lived like 3 suburbs over from me.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, that's outrageous. Like of all places in the world, like, and they were literally down the street from me, and you just never know who you're gonna meet. Like, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So what legacy do you hope SB Marketing will leave in the marketing industry?
I hope to worldwide is a very broad, like that's a very high goal, but I do hope to have some sort of an impact on marketing as a whole. I hope
Yes.
to kind of bring people forward and introduce marketers to being open to learning,
Right.
and not being like, I feel like all businesses should kind of introduce the whole, oh, like I want to be open to learning. I am listening to you and I'm listening to what you're saying. And it's not just client v marketer or client v business. It's not, you're not versing them, you're like working together.
Yes.
And I want to have an impact on that personally. I want to be a part of that change, and or any change that matter, like the change that SEO brings and analytics brings. I would love to be a part of that. Like it's one of those things, any impact that I can have, that my business or my personal brand can have on one person or an entire industry, is something that I will take.
Now, my last 2 questions are a bit of a thought experiment.
Mhm.
In the first one, I'm going to teleport you into the past. Not that you have much of a past, but to that young girl, this young student who went to university, fell into the lap of marketing, and didn't know what to do. If you could go back and give yourself 3 nuggets of wisdom based on what life has taught you up until this point, what would those 3 nuggets of wisdom be?
So if I was to go back and I was lost and not knowing what to do with myself, I would probably be saying, one, follow your gut feeling. That's probably one of the biggest things ever. Like, if your gut is telling you and pushing you to do something, you should definitely be going for it. The second one is probably talking to people. I I'm an introvert and an extrovert, probably an extrovert introvert. I love being around people and socializing. I love being around my friends and meeting new people, but I also love being at home and being like huddled up with a book or any sort of thing, like, or and sometimes like I just won't feel like socializing, but I feel like that's so important. People do need to socialize, and I feel like I should tell myself that that I should be a little bit more social. And the third thing is probably, if I didn't end up getting the job that I got, would definitely be leaning toward going for like applying for internships. I was honestly so scared of like just staying at West forever. I didn't even consider applying for internships. I was applying for jobs just anywhere that would have any sort of impact on my career, and I didn't apply for any internships. And if I didn't land my job with interactive media and custom neon, I would probably still be hunting. And I feel like keeping everything on the table is definitely important, an important side to every business decision. Yeah, honestly, taking everything on the chin is one of the most important things. You know, every feedback someone gives you, like about how you carry yourself, how you're treating people, all of that is taking that on the chin and understanding that it's an important part and people are telling you it for a reason, not just
Yes.
saying it just because. That's what's gonna teach me. That's what would get me through my younger years.
Okay, now let's teleport you into the future. And I have your website scrolling at the bottom of the screen there in case anybody wants to get hold of you.
Mhm.
Last question. If I could teleport you into the future to go and meet the 90-year-old you, by this time she's married, she's a grandmother, maybe a great-grandmother, who knows? And she's surrounded by her children, her grandchildren. If you could go and have a conversation with this wise woman who has led you up until this point, what will you say to her when you finally meet her?
When I finally meet the 9-year-old me, I probably wouldn't tell her anything. I would ask her, well, me, I would ask myself if I'm happy. That's probably one of my biggest fears is growing up, having a business, having all that, you know, having a life, you know, kids, etc., and not being happy. Happiness is severely underrated, and everyone, no matter what they're doing, should be happy. And that is probably one of the most important parts for me. And that's why I'd be asking my 9-year-old self. And I would probably ask them the if the rest of some of the book series were good. um I would just like want to know that I had a full life and that everything that I did when I was younger, it wasn't, even if it was in like, even if it was a waste, I would still do it. I would want to know that I had a full life and that when I'm 90, like my grandma, I would be reading books and eating chocolates and being perfectly content. That's like, that's the way I want to go.
You know, the reason why I like to ask that question at the end of my podcast?
Why?
I like to ask it because a lot of women don't realize that the wise woman is already in them.
Mm-hmm.
She is that quiet voice, the intuition you were talking about earlier, that urge that we feel inside to do something that doesn't make any sense. I'm pretty sure most of your friends are clueless as to what they should be doing right now, but you knew exactly what it was and you followed your gut. So
Mm-hmm.
instead of looking outside of ourselves for answers, we need to go inside and really tune in. And I think that's something you've done really well. And what I would say to the future you, if I were you, is thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
guiding me. Thank you for giving me this amazing life because you started early and it is going to be phenomenal. I can feel it. I'm very, very
Yeah,
excited for you.
I'm very excited for the future, the immediate future when I graduate, but also 90-year-old me, I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to seeing what and looking back on everything, and making
Yes.
sure, like, I want to make sure that I had an impact, even if it's just on one person.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming online and sharing your wisdom with us today. It really excites me when I meet someone young who's starting off life knowing what she wants, following her bliss because all the analytics and the mathematics sounds like fun to you. A lot of times your wealth lies in the things that you are passionate about. But people don't realize that and they go into professions and careers that make them absolutely miserable. You've gone and done exactly the opposite. So thank you for being who you are and being an example of the possibility.
No, thank you for having me. It's been amazing talking to you and sharing what I've been through, or rather, what I've been through thus far as a 20-year-old, and bringing that to the show. And I hope I can have an impact on some other young people too.
I'm pretty sure you will, because we're getting more and more of younger people coming onto our platform. And I'm trying to attract more young people, because when I started, it was a platform for women over 50. But those women have brought me their granddaughters and their daughters. So our demographic is going down, which really excites me when I find someone as young as you to be able to be highlighted on the podcast. And thank you to everybody who's tuned in today. The Her Story Circle is a social impact movement. We are a group of women who bring you and share our stories to uplift you, inspire you, energize you, but most importantly, to take you from where you are now to where you want to go. And I'm pretty sure if there's anybody there under 20 who's listening to today's podcast, you have some steps, some gems that you can learn from Lizzie to take your life to the next level. So tune in again tomorrow when I interview yet another amazing guest. In the meantime, have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world. And Lizzie, thanks again for the interview.
Thanks for having me. Have a good evening.
Bye for now, everybody. Thank you for tuning into the Her Story Circle podcast. I hope today's story has inspired you to believe in the power of our stories and the difference you can make in the world when you use your voice. I'm Gertrude Mache, and it's been an honor to share this space with you, where voices from all walks of life come together to weave a rich tapestry of diverse perspectives. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast to help us share these stories with more listeners. Follow us on social media by looking for the Her Story Circle podcast for more updates. And join us tomorrow for another episode filled with courage, resilience, and empowerment. Remember, your story matters, and together we're building a stronger, more inclusive world. Until next time, keep making her story.